Every day we encounter situations that test our patience and disturb our peace. It could be heavy traffic when we're already racing against time, the annoying habits of a coworker, or the phone battery dying right in the middle of an important conversation. Life seems full of these little daily battles, but the issue isn't just about these small annoyances. It's about how we react to them, which defines our days and ultimately our lives. Today, let's dive into the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us not only to handle these moments, but to grow from them. Stoicism offers us tools to transform daily frustrations into opportunities for personal development and peace of mind. By the end of this video, you will not only understand why these principles have influenced so many brilliant minds over the centuries, but also gain practical tips that you can apply right now to start living a stronger and more fulfilling life. So let's embark on this journey together, exploring how the serenity and reason of Stoicism can help us control our reactions, cultivate calm, and promote deep personal transformation. If you like what we are discovering today and want to keep learning with us, make a simple and cost-free gesture by clicking the subscribe button to ensure you don't miss any details from the video to capture all the transformative ideas we are about to explore. Let's get started. It's important to remember that everyone feels anger sometimes. It's part of being human. But this is where Stoicism comes in with its profound wisdom. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. This is key to transforming our relationship with anger. Think about it. When something goes wrong or someone irritates us, our first impulse might be to react with anger. But what if instead we pause and reflect on this reaction? Stoicism encourages us to see these moments as opportunities to practice virtues like patience, understanding, and resilience. Lesson number 1. By viewing anger as a common human reaction, we set the stage for learning to deal with it more effectively. Stoic thinkers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius often spoke about the idea of not being affected by external events, but rather focusing on our internal reactions. They believed that our emotions, including anger, stem from our perceptions of events, not the events themselves. Thus, when we feel anger, it's often because we are assigning a specific meaning or judgment to what happened. This understanding offers us a powerful opportunity. Every time we feel anger arise, we can ask ourselves, what judgment am I making about this situation? Is there another way to see this? It's not about repressing or denying your anger, but about understanding it. By investigating the root of what triggers our anger, we can begin to alter our reactions. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic and you feel the anger boiling, recognize it as an opportunity to reflect on why you're reacting this way. Is it really the other driver's action, or is it your belief that your journey should be smooth? Moreover, recognizing anger helps us have empathy for others who may also be struggling with their emotions. This empathy can strengthen our relationships and improve our interactions. It's about compassion, both for ourselves and for others, as we navigate the complexities of human emotions. This concept lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy and is immensely liberating when we truly understand it. Think about it. Much of our irritation and anger comes from situations or people we simply cannot change, no matter how much we wish to. Stoics, like the wise Marcus Aurelius, taught that true power lies in discerning the difference between what we can control and what we cannot. You have control over your thoughts, your choices, and your actions. That's it. Everything else is largely beyond your control. Other people's actions, the weather, the past, and much of the future. But here's where it gets interesting. By focusing on our own reactions and attitudes, we regain an immense amount of power. Instead of wasting energy on what we can't control, we invest in what we can truly influence. Have you ever thought about how Stoicism can actually transform the way we face daily challenges? By focusing on what is within our reach, we create a refuge of tranquility even amidst turmoil. So, I invite you to comment. I control my reactions and find serenity. Leave this comment and I'll leave a little heart, showing that you are on your way to a calmer and more resilient life. Now that you've commented, let's move forward. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like so you don't miss any details of our learnings. Furthermore, it's worth remembering that Stoicism although an ancient philosophy, has incredible relevance today. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by external stimuli and pressures, finding an internal space of peace can be revolutionary. And as we practice this philosophy, we may find that by changing our interior, we begin to positively impact the environment around us as well. Lesson 2. Let's make it practical. Imagine you're involved in a team project and someone isn't pulling their weight. It's easy to feel irritated, right? You might even feel your patience wearing thin. But ask yourself, what part of this situation can I really control? You can't force your colleague to be more dedicated, but you can decide how you're going to handle the challenge. Perhaps have an honest conversation about responsibilities, or maybe redistribute tasks within the group. By shifting your focus in this way, you not only reduce your own stress, but also find more constructive ways to solve the issue. Another aspect of this Stoic principle is accepting that some things are simply beyond our reach. This acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means understanding where our power truly lies. It's about not allowing external factors to determine your tranquility. For example, if you're stuck in traffic and start getting nervous because you're going to be late, pause and reflect. Can I control the traffic? Number. But what can I control? Your attitude. Maybe you put on an audiobook or some relaxing music, or use the time to plan your day. The beauty of focusing on what you can control is that it gradually builds a firmer and more resilient mindset. Over time, you'll find yourself less affected by the ups and downs of life because you understand where your responsibilities lie and where they don't. This is not about suppressing your feelings, but about directing your energies more productively. It's about being fully present in the moment, aware of where we are and what we're doing, without being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's around us. This fits perfectly with Stoic teachings, which emphasize the importance of awareness of our thoughts and actions and maintaining control over our reactions to external circumstances. So why practice mindfulness? Because it helps us create a pause between what we experience and how we react to it. By becoming more mindful, we can choose responses that align with our values and goals rather than being swept away by emotions. This is especially useful when dealing with anger or frustration. Lesson 3. Take a step back. You notice your emotional wave, but choose to observe it calmly without acting immediately. This space that mindfulness creates is not only calming, it's empowering. It offers you the opportunity to choose a response you won't regret later. Let's discuss how to incorporate mindfulness into daily life, because it sounds wonderful in theory, but it's in practice that the real magic happens. A simple technique is to focus on your breathing. When you feel anxious or irritated, take a moment to concentrate on deep, slow breaths. This focus diverts your mind from stressors or irritations and brings you back to what you can control, your breathing. Another practical method is what I like to call mindful observation. Choose a common task or moment, like having a cup of coffee. Focus all your senses on this experience. Notice the aroma, the warmth of the cup in your hands, the taste. This practice of fully engaging with the present moment can transform an ordinary experience into something richer and full of detail. What's fascinating about this is that it trains your mind to apply the same level of awareness to more challenging situations. When anger or frustration arise, you'll be better prepared to handle it with the same focus and serenity. Stoicism also teaches us about the impermanence of our experiences. Nothing lasts forever, not even our emotions. Mindfulness complements this by helping us experience our feelings without judgment. Acknowledge that you are angry, accept it, but also remember that this anger is just a transient state. It is not who you are and does not control you unless you allow it. The idea that everything changes and nothing is permanent is a universal truth that can help us navigate life's ups and downs with more ease and less irritation. It's about understanding that our circumstances, emotions, and even our thoughts are in constant motion and learning to embrace this constant state of change rather than resist it. Think about how often we feel disappointed because things didn't go as planned. Maybe it was a job promotion that didn't happen, a relationship that ended unexpectedly, or a sudden change in our health. Our first reaction might be to resist these changes, feel anger or sadness. But Stoicism invites us to look at these situations differently, through the lens of impermanence. When we truly understand that nothing is permanent, we begin to realize that our anger or disappointment is also temporary. This doesn't diminish the importance of our feelings, but offers us a more balanced perspective on them. Moreover, by accepting the transience of life, we become more flexible and adaptable, ready to face the surprises and twists that fate has in store for us. This wisdom allows us to live with more gratitude and less attachment to what we deem permanent. With each conscious breath and each moment of full presence, we cultivate a richer and more meaningful life where every instant is appreciated for its uniqueness and ephemeral beauty. Lesson 4. Accepting impermanence allows us to live more intensely in the present and worry less about the past and future. When we understand that everything is fleeting, we begin to value our experiences and the people around us more deeply. We don't take things for granted because we are aware that circumstances can change at any moment. This awareness can be incredibly liberating. It diminishes the impact of negative events and amplifies the joy of positive ones. Now, how can we practice acceptance of impermanence in our daily lives? Start by reflecting on the transient nature of your surroundings and experiences. For example, observe how the seasons change, how your feelings vary throughout the day, or how your relationships evolve over time. These observations can serve as reminders that change is the only constant. Another way to integrate this into your life is by adjusting how you react to interruptions or unexpected changes. Instead of reacting with frustration when something doesn't go as planned, take a moment to acknowledge that this change is part of a larger flow of life. It's an opportunity to adapt and grow. Think of a moment when something didn't turn out as you expected, and then something better emerged. Often, it's only in retrospect that we realize how these changes were beneficial. Stoicism doesn't just ask us to accept impermanence. It encourages us to find strength in it. Every change and ending is a chance to practice resilience and flexibility. By cultivating this mindset, we not only handle life's challenges more effectively, but also navigate them with a sense of peace and anticipation for what's to come. Stoics believed that becoming aware of the root causes of our emotions can lead to greater self-mastery. When we understand our emotions, we are better prepared to respond to life's challenges in ways that align with our values and purposes instead of simply reacting out of habit or impulse. Every emotion we experience, whether anger, joy, sadness, or fear, is triggered by our perception of our surroundings. For example, if you feel irritated when someone interrupts you while speaking, it's worth exploring why. Is it because you feel disrespected? Or perhaps it reflects a deeper insecurity about your voice being heard. By exploring these questions, you can begin to understand not only your reactions, but also the beliefs and values that underlie them. This understanding is crucial because it offers you the opportunity to change your perceptions and, consequently, how you feel. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions are based on our judgments. The good news is that judgments can be evaluated and transformed. So when you feel a strong emotion, you can ask yourself, where is this coming from? How can I view this differently? This practice puts us on the path to a more conscious and harmonious life, where we are the authors of our own emotional stories. Lesson 5. Try stepping back and asking yourself, what am I believing at this moment? Is this belief true? Is it helpful? This kind of questioning can be extremely powerful. It allows you to alter your perspective and choose a different emotional response, one that benefits you more. For example, if you're feeling anxious about a work presentation, it might be because you believe you need to perform perfectly to be respected. But is that really true? Your colleagues probably value your effort and honesty more than perfection. Recognizing this can alleviate some of your anxiety and help you face the situation with more calm and confidence. In practice, keeping a journal can be a very effective tool for understanding your emotions. By writing down what you feel and exploring why you're feeling it, you can identify patterns and triggers that you might not have been aware of otherwise. This reflection not only helps in the moment, but also develops a kind of emotional intelligence over time that can make you more resilient and adaptable. Another approach is to discuss your feelings with someone you trust, a friend, a family member, or a mentor. Talking about your emotions can offer new insights and perspectives that you might not have considered. Often, it's through dialogue that we reach new understandings about ourselves and our relationships. Embracing the Stoic approach to emotions is not about repressing what you feel. On the contrary, it's about engaging with your emotions proactively and reflectively. It's about taking control of the narrative of your inner life. By understanding your emotions, you are not just reacting to the world, you are actively shaping your experience of it. Stoicism teaches us the value of patience, not just as a way to endure, but as a method to transform our experiences. Patience, according to Stoic philosophy, is not just about waiting, it's about how we behave while we wait. It's about maintaining our composure and dignity in the face of life's delays and challenges, understanding that these are often beyond our control. In our daily lives, we encounter countless situations that can trigger impatience, from a slow line at the grocery store to a traffic jam or a delayed response from a colleague. Our first instinct might be to feel irritation or stress, but this is where Stoicism comes into play. It encourages us to see these moments as opportunities to practice virtue. Each instance of delay is a chance to exercise patience, to reinforce our ability to remain calm and serene. Moreover, by adopting this posture, we realize that patience is not just passive waiting, but an active force that allows us to live more fully and with less anxiety. Thus, as we cultivate this virtue, we become examples of serenity for those around us, inspiring others to also find peace amid life's inevitable uncertainties. And ultimately, we reveal our true inner strength, a strength that doesn't succumb to storms, but dances with them. To develop patience practically, an effective approach is to adjust our expectations. Often, our impatience arises from a discrepancy between what we expect and reality. By starting to recognize that delays and obstacles are natural parts of life, we are less likely to become upset when they occur. This doesn't mean lowering our standards, but rather aligning our expectations with the fact that the world won't always operate according to our preferences. Another key method is to use waiting moments as opportunities for growth and reflection. If you're stuck in traffic, instead of getting irritated by the delay, you can turn it into valuable time. Listen to an audiobook, practice deep breathing, or simply reflect on your day. This change in perspective transforms a frustrating situation into a productive or relaxing opportunity. Practicing mindfulness is also a powerful ally in developing patience. By being present in the moment and fully engaging with it, we can distance ourselves from feelings of urgency and restlessness that often accompany waiting. Mindfulness helps us cultivate a peaceful state of mind that shields us from the stimuli of impatience. Stoicism not only advocates patience, but also understanding the impermanence of our current state. Remembering that this too shall pass can help us endure unpleasant situations, whether waiting for a delayed flight or facing a long recovery from an illness. The knowledge that it's temporary makes everything more bearable. Finally, celebrating small victories is crucial in developing patience. When you manage to remain calm during a situation that would normally make you impatient, acknowledge and reward yourself for that achievement. It reinforces the behavior and makes it more likely to become a habit. Moving on to forgiveness, this is a transformative experience that not only changes how we relate to others, but also profoundly affects our inner peace. Forgiveness, in the Stoic sense, isn't about pardoning offenses or forgetting the harm done. It's about freeing ourselves from the emotional weight that comes from holding grudges. Forgiveness requires a strong sense of self-awareness and control over one's emotions, qualities that Stoics strive to develop. It involves recognizing that our anger and hurt, while natural and valid responses to perceived injustices, are ultimately under our control. This doesn't mean the process is simple or immediate. Forgiveness can be challenging. It often requires deliberate and focused effort to let go of deep-seated feelings of injustice. Consider the power that comes from deciding not to let another person's actions disturb your inner peace. This is the essence of Stoic forgiveness. It's about making a conscious choice not to let past actions continuously affect your present mental state. This decision helps you regain your emotional energy and focus it on more constructive pursuits that align with your values and goals. To start practicing forgiveness in everyday life, begin with the acknowledgement that all human beings are fallible, ourselves included. We all make mistakes, sometimes out of ignorance, sometimes out of malice. Reflecting on our own shortcomings can help us develop empathy for others, making it easier to forgive. Another Stoic practice is considering the larger picture. Often the things we hold on to aren't as significant in the grand scheme of our lives. By focusing on our long-term well-being, which is strengthened by peace and harmony, the immediate pain of hurts can be mitigated. Practicing forgiveness also involves actively reframing our narratives. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim, which can perpetuate feelings of anger and helplessness, try to see yourself as a survivor, or even a hero of your story, someone who has overcome challenges and emerged stronger. This shift in perspective not only facilitates forgiveness, but also empowers you in your life's journey. Additionally, engaging in meditation or mindfulness exercises can aid in the process. These practices help calm the mind and provide the necessary space to process emotions more rationally and less reactively. As you sit in silence and focus on your breath, allow thoughts of forgiveness to enter your mind, imagining those you feel have wronged you and sending them thoughts of goodwill. This doesn't mean you condone the wrongdoing, but that you're choosing to release its hold over you. At the end of the day, both patience and forgiveness are acts of self-love and care. They help us live fuller lives, less burdened by emotional weights. And by practicing them, we not only transform ourselves, but also positively impact the world around us, creating a space where empathy and understanding can flourish. Finally, it's crucial to recognize that forgiveness is a process, and sometimes it can be a long and winding road. It doesn't happen all at once, and that's completely normal. Every step toward forgiveness, no matter how small, is a step toward a freer and more emotionally balanced life. At its core, self-control allows us to pause before reacting, granting us time to consider whether our impulses align with our long-term goals. For example, if you're pursuing a healthier lifestyle, self-control is what helps you choose not to indulge in that unhealthy snack late at night. In emotional situations, self-control helps you hold back a harsh word or an angry response, preserving relationships and maintaining peace of mind. How can we strengthen this essential skill? An effective Stoic practice is to regularly reflect on our actions and their consequences. This can be as simple as taking a few minutes every night to ponder the choices you made throughout the day. Were there times when you lacked self-control? What triggered it? Understanding these patterns is the first step toward managing them. Another powerful technique is establishing clear personal rules for behavior based on your values. Stoicism teaches us that living according to rational principles is the key to a good life. By setting and following your own rules, such as not checking your phone during meals or limiting time spent on social media, you exercise self-control in ways that directly improve your daily life and well-being. Visualization is another tool that can be incredibly useful. Before entering a situation where you know you might be tempted to act impulsively, take a moment to imagine yourself handling the situation calmly and with restraint. Imagine the satisfaction you'll feel by acting according to your principles. This mental rehearsal can make it much easier to maintain your composure in the heat of the moment. It's also beneficial to gradually increase your tolerance for discomfort, which is a large part of what self-control involves. Stoics believed that by voluntarily exposing ourselves to discomfort, whether through cold showers, fasting, or resisting impulses, we can strengthen our willpower. These practices teach us that we can endure discomfort and that it's often not as bad as we fear. This realization directly feeds into our ability to exercise self-control in more complex emotional or social situations. Lastly, remember that practicing self-control is a journey, not a destination. There will be times when you fail. That's just part of being human. What matters is that you recognize these moments, learn from them, and continue striving to improve. Every act of self-control, no matter how small, is a victory in itself. and a step toward becoming a wiser and more balanced person. Throughout this journey, continuous practice and self-compassion are your allies. The road to personal mastery is paved with small advances, course corrections, and an acceptance of our own humanity. As you cultivate patience, forgiveness, and self-control, you'll find that wisdom and serenity become intrinsic parts of your being, guiding you gracefully through life's inevitable challenges. We've reached the end of this inspiring video, and now it's your turn to take action. If you've made it this far, comment until the end to show that you are a persistent, dedicated, and bold person, truly seeking success, financial freedom, or financial independence. I'll love to see this commitment in the comments, and as a thank you, I'll leave a little heart for you. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave that special like, and keep following us on this journey of learning and growth. On the screen, I'm leaving 2 recommendations that I believe you'll love, so choose one and go watch it now. Reflect on the recent weeks and the past few months. How have you been spending your time? Since January, when we were given a new opportunity, have we been making the most of it? Are you keeping the promises you made? Are you already taking action to achieve your goals? Or have there been days when laziness, fatigue, or lack of motivation prevailed? It's easy to fall into the trap of postponing things until tomorrow, believing we have all the time in the world. But we can't expect different results in our lives if we continue acting in the same way. Either you start changing now, or you will always be frustrated and unsuccessful. If you are not yet living as you planned, it's time to change and act differently. This video proposes a challenge for the next 30 days. I will present 7 challenges, and I want you to choose one to commit to practicing in the coming days. No matter what situation you are in, whether prospering, facing emotional difficulties, or anything else, there is always room for improvement. You just need the will and courage to start. Imagine how it would be if, instead of giving in to laziness or lack of motivation, you took a decisive step every day to get closer to your dreams. Think about how your life can transform by adopting new habits and attitudes, even if small but consistent. This is an invitation for you to take control over the next 30 days and direct your energy toward real change in your life. And only you can choose to do this. The first challenge is simple. Do not complain about anything in your life. It's definitely easier said than done. This may be the worst and hardest challenge for many, but don't be scared. We are just starting, and I'm sure you will be able to meet this challenge. Watch until the end and prove to yourself that you are capable of overcoming and improving with these challenges. Many will underestimate this challenge, but it can truly transform your life. Imagine committing to spend the next few days without letting a complaint, negative comment, or gossip come out of your mouth. If you become more aware of your words and strive to change them, you will change your way of thinking and start to recreate your story. Think about how many times you complain throughout the day. Maybe it's about something small, like the chaotic traffic that makes you late every morning, the coworker who talks too much and interrupts your concentration, the rising prices in the market emptying your wallet, a headache, or even the weather ruining your plans. By themselves, these things seem small but accumulated. They can weigh heavily on your mood and state of mind. Try making a conscious effort to change this. Decide that for the next 30 days, you will not let yourself be carried away by the urge to complain or negative thoughts. It will be a challenge, of course, but think about the benefits. Complaining is like watering the seeds of what we don't want in our lives. By complaining, we focus on what is wrong. It's like being stuck in quicksand. The more we focus on the problems, the more we sink, being pulled down more and more. It's like giving power to problems, allowing them to grow and multiply. Have you noticed how we start complaining about one small thing and soon we are complaining about everything? This happens because what we focus on tends to expand. Our thoughts and words shape our reality. As Marcus Aurelius said in his Meditations, our life is colored by our thoughts. So you either use light colors or dark colors. Therefore, it is vital to monitor our words because they reveal our deepest thoughts. Sometimes we don't realize how much our thoughts are more destructive than constructive. However, our words convey this. It is vital to control our mind if we want to progress and live well. But how can we face this challenge in practice? One way is through conscious monitoring. The idea is straightforward. Take an object like a bracelet, a ring, or a wristband. Every time you notice you're about to complain, criticize, or gossip, change the object's place. This small physical gesture can be the sign you need to create a new awareness of your words and thoughts. In these 30 days, you will see something incredible. When we stop complaining, we start noticing the good things around us, the small joys that previously went unnoticed. You will realize you have more control over your happiness than you thought. Complaining is like planting seeds of negativity. By choosing not to complain, you start planting seeds of gratitude and positivity. Imagine waking up in the morning and, instead of worrying about the rainy weather, enjoying a cozy moment at home, watching a movie you've always wanted to see. Or, instead of getting annoyed with the noisy coworker, using headphones with calm music. When shopping, face high prices as a chance to look for promotions or try cheaper recipes. Try to find beauty in each day, even if it's raining. On this first day of the challenge, observe yourself. Notice how many times you are tempted to complain. It may be surprising to realize how these reactions are automatic. But by dedicating yourself to this challenge, you start breaking this cycle. Every word you say has power. They shape your reality and directly influence your life experience. So why not choose words that bring light and positivity? When you complain, you use the incredible power of your mind to look for things you don't want and end up attracting more of them. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Stop complaining. Accept the 30-day challenge without complaints and see how your life can transform. By controlling your words, you take control of your life, creating a fuller and more rewarding life. Now, I want to invite you to commit to this challenge. And to confirm your commitment, comment like this: I am wise. Comment that, and everyone will know you are committed to changing these habits that only hold you back and prevent you from achieving your goals. Comment, and I will give a heart to your comment, proving once again that you can become a virtuous person. Now that you have commented, let's continue our journey. Second challenge: freeing yourself from negative thoughts. Imagine for a moment that every morning, before leaving home, you picked up 2 bags of stones and put them in your backpack. At first, you might not feel much weight, but as days, weeks, and months pass, carrying this load would become unbearable. You would be exhausted, without energy, and each step would be an immense effort. Now think about your negative and unpleasant thoughts. They work the same way. They not only wear out your mind, but also affect your energy and attitude towards life, creating a cycle of frustration, self-criticism, and decreased self-confidence, leaving you feeling drained and unmotivated. Our second challenge is to break this cycle of mental self-sabotage. You would never put all that weight in your backpack, right? You would never fill it with stones to carry throughout the day. So why keep doing this to your mind? Often we learn to value physical things more than our own mental health. However, it is possible to change that. We can learn to recognize the value of our mind and the impact it has on our quality of life. We need to learn to fight these negative thoughts before they turn into mental monsters. For example, in relationships, when difficulties arise or situations don't go as expected, instead of solving the problem by talking, we keep ruminating on those thoughts repeatedly. She lost interest in me. He doesn't care about me anymore. These ideas can become heavy obstacles for the relationship, undermining communication and connection. Imagine you are at work and your boss criticizes a task you did. Instead of talking and resolving the issue, you start thinking, I never do anything right, or he will never appreciate me. These thoughts accumulate and become a significant obstacle to your performance and well-being. Almost all unpleasant experiences in our lives have the potential to turn into mental monsters if we feed them with constant negative thoughts. Romantic disappointments, professional failures, a friendship that ended, a mistake made, a missed opportunity, or even harsh words from someone. Everything can become a burden on our minds, preventing us from moving forward and finding happiness and fulfillment. Revisiting your fears and failures paves the way for self-destruction. In the next 30 days, our challenge is to break this cycle of negative thoughts. First, We need to stop feeding our minds with mental garbage, avoiding constantly reliving unpleasant experiences. Then, we should direct our memory in a focused way towards events and thoughts that strengthen and inspire us on life's journey. By eliminating negative thoughts, we make room for a lighter and more constructive mindset that allows us to face life's challenges with more serenity and confidence. An effective way to start is by recognizing negative thoughts as they arise and challenging them. When a negative thought comes up, stop and ask yourself, is this really true? Is there another way to see this situation? This simple act of questioning can help break the cycle of negativity. Additionally, it is crucial to learn to silence our inner critic, that voice that hammers in our heads, lamenting the mistakes made. Instead of self-deprecation, we must learn to advocate for ourselves. This means remembering the moments when we were smart, brave, and resilient. We all make mistakes because no one is perfect, and we are all human beings. But we all also have moments of greatness, overcoming, and achievement. When we seek self-knowledge, we begin to see ourselves more completely, accepting our flaws as part of the path of our personal growth. It's like we are molding a stronger and more confident version of ourselves. This journey is not simple. It's a winding road where we learn to see our true inner strength and our ability to shape our own happiness. Stoicism teaches us that it is possible to change our way of seeing life and reshape our values, including the importance we give to ourselves. If you are truly willing to embrace these challenges and apply them in your daily life, make your mark by committing here. Write in the comments, "I will apply." This small step can mark the beginning of significant changes to build a healthier and stronger mindset, one positive thought at a time. Third challenge, practice emotional and material detachment. This challenge is about learning to live without something you consider indispensable. It can be something small, like your favorite candy, or something bigger, like the time you spend on social media. The idea is simple: to explore the power of self-control, one of the greatest freedoms we can have. Imagine for a moment what it would be like to let go of something that brings you comfort or pleasure. It may seem like we are depriving ourselves of happiness, but in reality, we are training to be stronger, capable of facing discomfort and resisting temptations that arise along the way. You become a person capable of doing what others don't have the courage to do. Think about how expanding your comfort zone can make you more resilient in the face of life's adversities. When you do this, you are strengthening your self-discipline and learning to say no to things that do not contribute to your personal growth. This journey is not just about giving up something for a few days, but about changing your perspective and becoming a better version of yourself. Let's think about this challenge more broadly. It's not just about material deprivations, but also about dealing with harmful feelings, emotions, and habits. For example, consider the insecurity that often prevents us from moving forward and achieving our goals. It can be like a weight on our shoulders, stopping us from advancing. In the next 30 days, whenever you encounter insecurity or a harmful habit, imagine yourself releasing that weight that is holding you back. Give yourself permission to act with confidence and determination, even if it's challenging at first. This challenge is not just about resisting a habit. It's about freeing yourself from something that is clearly hindering your progress and happiness. Sometimes, we cling to negative feelings or destructive habits, as if we were trapped in an invisible web. Even knowing that these things harm us, it's hard to leave them behind because we have secondary gains. But by challenging ourselves to live without these bonds, we discover our own inner strength and our ability to overcome. So, choose something specific you would like to leave behind in the coming days. It could be a negative feeling like fear or self-criticism, a harmful habit like procrastination or excessive social media consumption, or anything else you feel is preventing you from being who you really want to be. Think about the insecurity you feel that often prevents you from acting and making decisions. Always remember that your life and true happiness do not depend on the things you are leaving behind. True joy arises from your conscious choices and the actions you take to build a more satisfying life. Observe how you can grow by letting go of what no longer serves you. This is the first step toward a journey of significant personal development. By accepting this challenge of material and emotional detachment, You will be taking an important step toward your personal freedom and inner growth. You will begin to realize that many of the things you considered indispensable were, in fact, barriers to your true potential. You understand that training our self-control is also training our mastery over our emotions and feelings. So, what do you choose to leave behind? What will be your first step towards a freer and more conscious life? Share your choice and commit to following this challenge. Together, we can support each other on this journey of transformation. Fourth challenge: controlling your inner self. Controlling our emotions is a valuable lesson from Stoicism. Every day, we encounter situations that test our emotional stability. It could be a complicated project at work that drives us crazy, a family argument that almost turns into a fight, or unexpected events that destabilize us. It's common to be dominated by emotions, reacting impulsively, and losing control of the situation. But what if we could change that? What if we could truly regain control? I invite you to embark on a 30-day challenge to practice emotional balance. During this period, we will closely observe our reactions to the situations that arise. First, it is crucial to develop self-awareness, starting by recognizing our impulses and judgments, and then developing the ability to distance ourselves from them so that our emotions do not dominate us. Imagine a common scenario. You are at work dealing with a complex project. The deadline is rapidly approaching, and the pressure increases by the minute. Instead of allowing stress to take over, stop for a moment and observe the situation from a broader perspective. Recognize that the challenge is real and that it is demanding the best of you. However, how you choose to react is entirely under your control. Panicking, blaming others, or getting frustrated will solve nothing. On the contrary, it can make resolution even more difficult. Staying calm, reviewing your options, and working with determination can help you face the challenge more effectively. This same principle applies to other areas of your life. If someone in your family or social environment tries to provoke you, it is essential to recognize this dynamic. This person may be testing your patience or trying to destabilize you emotionally, but this will only succeed if you allow it. Remember that you have the power to choose how to respond to these challenging situations. Before reacting impulsively, practice the art of stopping and observing the situation carefully. Then, consciously choose your reaction. By developing this skill of maintaining emotional balance, you will be better prepared to face life's challenges with calm and serenity, promoting a sense of inner peace that does not depend on external circumstances. A practical example: during a heated argument, instead of responding impulsively, take a pause, breathe deeply, and evaluate your options. Choose a response that maintains harmony and reflects the person you want to be. By practicing this approach repeatedly, you will strengthen your inner control. In the next 30 days, commit to observing and controlling your emotional reactions. When you have control over your inner self, nothing that happens externally can shake you. Fifth challenge: find an accountability partner. The journey of personal growth can be challenging, and having someone by your side can make all the difference. Finding an accountability partner, someone who shares goals and commitments, can significantly increase your determination and chances of success. Our fifth challenge is to find that special person who helps maintain focus and motivation along the way. An accountability partner is someone who helps us keep our commitment to the goals set. When we understand the importance of self-knowledge, having someone by our side to encourage and monitor our progress can make all the difference. This partner can be a friend, a family member, or a colleague. It is crucial to choose someone who is equally committed to success. This partner should have similar values to ours, be available at the same times, and demonstrate a genuine interest in our progress. The accountability relationship should be a two-way street, where both parties support each other in their journeys. Mutual accountability is a powerful tool. Knowing that we will have to report to someone who cares about our success motivates us to remain firm in our commitments, even when circumstances become challenging. This emotional and energetic connection with our accountability partner keeps our determination strong and our direction clear. In the next 30 days, challenge yourself to find and work with an accountability partner. Share this video with them. and together support and encourage each other, creating a solid foundation for building positive and lasting habits. This partnership will not only help achieve the goals set, but also strengthen bonds of friendship and cooperation, making the path to success more enriching and rewarding. Sixth challenge, practice deep gratitude. Think about the incredible capacity we have to think, feel, enjoy, and love. This is the first step to embarking on a journey of gratitude, inspired by the wise words of Marcus Aurelius. When you wake up in the morning, don't just think about the routine that begins, but about the miracle of being alive. Breathe deeply and feel life pulsating in every part of you, recognizing how extraordinary this privilege of living is. It's natural that when we feel dissatisfied or during difficult moments, our mind focuses on the negative aspects of life. Often we forget to value what was once a dream and that we now possess. Therefore, this challenge of practicing deep gratitude becomes so relevant. It's not just about saying thank you out of politeness, but truly diving into the deep feeling of appreciation for everything that is already part of our existence. Even though the word gratitude is widely used, we have become accustomed to seeing it in a more shallow and superficial way. In this challenge, we are invited to express genuine and deep gratitude, seeking in all areas of our lives reasons to be thankful, from the meaningful relationships that support us in difficult times, to the small daily joys that light our path. It is also an opportunity to recognize our own efforts and achievements, no matter how small they may seem. For example, the simple joy of having a hot cup of coffee in the morning, often taken for granted, can be a source of gratitude when we recognize the comfort and pleasure it provides. Similarly, a meaningful conversation with a friend or the support of a coworker are reasons to be grateful. Start thinking about your life and seek that feeling within you. In the next 30 days, I propose to incorporate the practice of gratitude into our daily routine. Start now. Comment on this video what you are grateful for. What does your heart thank for? This comment, no matter how simple, has the power to reorient your attention to the good things you already have in your life. Over time, this practice strengthens our connection with the present and helps us adopt a Stoic mindset, finding inner contentment regardless of external circumstances. Seventh challenge, take action. Doing what needs to be done is essential. But how to turn this idea into tangible actions? The answer lies in taking action. Imagine yourself reflecting on the events that shape your life. It's like being in front of a huge puzzle, trying to fit each piece with wisdom and determination. Start by analyzing the events in your life more rationally, focusing on what is within your control. For example, you may not have control over where you live, but that doesn't mean you are powerless. You can transform your environment, ensuring that your home is a refuge of comfort and order, regardless of external circumstances. And what about the small daily choices? Even if we don't have the best clothes or shoes, we can always wear an attitude of confidence, respect, and education. This depends solely on each one of us and the environment or situation. Facing life's challenges, like a loved one's illness, can be difficult. Although we cannot change the situation, we can offer our support and love. Perhaps you are an entrepreneur who started your own business without many resources, but you have the power to provide quality services and exceptional customer service. In terms of nutrition, even with simple ingredients, the decision to cook with dedication and creativity is always within our reach. In the professional environment, we do not control all variables, but our attitude and dedication are ours to manage. In any situation, context, or scenario, there is an opportunity to act consciously and determinedly, focusing on what we can directly influence. And when we do this, adversity does not paralyze us. In life's journey, we often encounter the difficulty of making firm and secure decisions. It is not simple, as it requires courage and commitment. It's like facing something that scares us, such as speaking in public for the first time or changing careers. These moments challenge our comfort zone and demand immediate action from us. By accepting these challenges, we strengthen our ability to deal with problems that arise, refusing to let fear or indecision dominate us. It's like building an internal shield that helps us maintain our values and act with integrity, even when facing life's storms, such as financial or personal problems. When the winds of life become stormy, it's this internal shield that keeps your integrity intact, allowing your decisions to be firm and aligned with your deepest principles. In the journey of life, we will encounter those who build and those who destroy. There are people who raise their values as pillars of their existence, while others, for various reasons, end up undermining their own foundations. The choice between building or destroying is always in our hands. We can choose to strengthen our internal shield, reinforcing our values, or allow it to disintegrate. This decision determines the course of our lives. Have you ever encountered a complicated person? Someone who always thinks they are right, who considers themselves smarter or better than everyone else? And what if this person is within our circle or is part of our family? Sometimes, we can't just distance ourselves or abandon the situation. And to live well, we need to learn to deal with these relationships without being influenced or caring too much. That is, without internalizing the negative view these people may have of us and others to maintain this sense of always being right. The answer can be found in Stoic philosophy, which offers tools to prepare us for life. Often the knowledge we learn in school does not prepare us for life's situations. The early Stoics said that the only function of this philosophy was to make life easier and better for everyone who practiced it. Regardless of our age, social class, physical or financial condition, we can progress in our lives and move forward. We just need to have the will and the tools that teach us to improve. Before we continue, if you somehow find this content helpful, make sure it reaches more people. Like, leave your comment, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who needs it. And if you really like this content, comment gratitude, and I'll be sure to leave a heart on your comment. Now let's continue. 1. Understand what you will encounter. Epictetus used the example of public baths in his talks to convey an important lesson about mental preparation. In ancient Rome, these places were used by people of all social classes, where they not only attended to their needs, but also socialized and discussed. People behaved differently. Some respected the space, others splashed water, left their belongings on the floor, and some went there just to steal. Epictetus taught that by knowing what to expect and preparing mentally, we can maintain calm and emotional control, even in annoying or stressful situations. Even though such public baths no longer exist, the advice remains useful and applies to many situations in our lives. People who think they are always right are insecure and usually need others to confirm what they say and think to sustain their self-esteem. Being right is what they need to feel secure about themselves. For these people, being right is more important than the truth, an easy way to do something, or the good of all, because this feeling of always being right reinforces their confidence. Therefore, when you disagree, present something new, or somehow contest what the person says or thinks, even in simple matters, it already provokes discussion and tension. The need to feel good and secure must come from within ourselves and not from others. Epictetus tells us that true happiness comes from not worrying about what we cannot control, such as the opinion of others. We do not control what others think, but we control what we think and how we react. When dealing with people who always want to be right, it's good to remember that they need this approval a lot. This helps us not to take it to heart and to remain calm. For these people, being right is more important than the truth. It is more important to be right than to learn something new or see a different opinion. In other words, even if you have a good argument or an easier way to achieve results, they will not pay attention. Understanding this prepares us for when we encounter these people, knowing how to handle the situation by responding in a balanced way without letting it affect us emotionally. A person who thinks they are always right needs others to agree with them. Their security depends on this validation, and this makes them not accept opposing opinions. It is important to remember that Stoicism teaches us the opposite, to practice emotional flexibility and to be humble to learn, grow, and improve ourselves. As Marcus Aurelius says, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my error in any thought or action, I will change gladly. I seek the truth, which has never harmed anyone. The harm is in persisting in one's own error and ignorance. 2. Know your value. Some people who always need to be right think they are better than others and can make us doubt ourselves. They insist so much on their ideas that we can start thinking we are wrong, less intelligent, or have difficulties learning. They turn the situation upside down. When you don't know your value, it's easy to fall into this trap, especially because of the persuasion of these people. This can be very damaging, as it affects our confidence and our ability to believe in our own judgment and skills. There are ways to deal with people who always need to be right, and one of them is to remember that despite external differences, like being thin, fat, tall, short, rich, poor, we all share the same human nature. We all have fears, insecurities, and desires, which puts us on equal terms. When you encounter someone like this, remember 2 points. First, that the other person is important, but so are you. We all, as human beings, are important. Sometimes we put people on a pedestal, and by doing so, we diminish ourselves. We recognize that a certain person is special, but we forget that we have similar capabilities within us. Moral and cognitive development is within reach of everyone who dedicates themselves to it. It is not exclusive to some. Understanding this makes you awaken to look at yourself and discover your own value. Not just admire this value in others, but learn to build and develop your potential. So, when speaking and interacting with someone who insists on always being right, think, we are 2 important people discussing something that benefits both. This helps to maintain a balanced perspective and to respect both your opinion and that of others. 3. Keep the dialogue light. People who always want to be right can make us lose our temper and destabilize us, but this only happens if we let it. We need to remember that people can only affect us to the extent that we allow them to. As Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself in Meditations, do not feel harmed and you won't be harmed. A useful strategy that Epictetus suggests is using humor. When someone tries to dominate the conversation by insisting they are always right, responding lightly can help reduce the tension. Pay attention to your body posture. If you are crossing your arms or feeling tense, try to relax. Adopt a more open posture and respond calmly and lightly. This can help prevent the conversation from turning into an endless argument. Maintaining a welcoming posture and speaking calmly are effective ways to control the situation. It's easy to get stressed during a discussion, especially when emotions start to take over. In those moments, conversations can quickly turn into exchanges of insults. Stress does not help when we are trying to converse with someone who thinks they are superior. These people often cross boundaries, trying to impose their opinions. To truly achieve a productive outcome in a discussion, it is crucial to remain calm. This allows us to focus on what really matters and not be swayed by provocations. In Stoicism, using humor is seen as a sign of intelligence and a way to stay calm in the face of problems. The Stoics thought that laughing and making jokes helped to accept the things we cannot change and to emotionally distance ourselves from the problems that happen around us. With humor, they faced challenges more calmly and relaxedly, without letting themselves get too upset. Choosing a more serene and thoughtful response instead of confronting directly helps to control the situation without turning it into an ego battle. 4. Avoid useless fights. Before starting a debate, ask yourself, what is the reason for this discussion? Is it worth investing my time and energy in this? Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, advises that all actions should have a clear purpose. Asking yourself if it is worth starting a discussion is understanding whether you are doing something productive or just wasting time. People who believe they are always right are generally stubborn, convinced that they know everything, or worse, that their truth is the only one that matters. Most of the time, these people adopt an arrogant posture. They speak as if they are superior and treat others as if they are less intelligent or need them to learn something. These attitudes show just how arrogant they are. Epictetus reminds us of a fundamental truth. It is impossible to learn something new if you believe you already know everything. A person who sees themselves as always right rarely learns or allows themselves to leave this position of false superiority they created and believe they have. Measuring forces with someone like this ends up being tiring and completely useless. And it is important to understand that the fact that someone thinks they are better than others does not make it true. It is just their opinion, probably without foundation. This reminds me of a real story from the U.S. Navy, which happened in October 1995, between a U.S. Navy ship and Canadian coastal authorities near the coast of Newfoundland. The conversation started with the Americans calmly asking, "Please change your course 15 degrees north to avoid a collision with our vessel." The Canadians responded immediately, "I suggest you change your course 15 degrees south." The American got irritated and replied, "This is the captain of a U.S. Navy ship. I repeat, change your course." But the Canadian held his ground. "No, change your current course." The situation began to escalate. The American captain shouted into the microphone, "This is the aircraft carrier USS Lincoln, the second largest ship in the U.S. Atlantic Fleet. We are accompanied by 3 destroyers, 3 frigates, and several support ships. I demand that you change your course 15 degrees north, or we will take measures to ensure the safety of our ship." And the Canadian replied, "This is a lighthouse, over." The American captain had no choice but to change his course, as a lighthouse cannot move. Sometimes our arrogance blinds us. How many times do we criticize others' actions, or demand that people around us change their behavior, when, in fact, we are the ones who should change our own path? A person who always believes they are right adopts the captain's posture. Their insecurity and arrogance do not allow them to see things as they are, but rather through the false idea of greatness they have built of themselves. Learn to identify when a discussion becomes useless and know when it's time to walk away. Avoiding unnecessary fights helps maintain your inner peace and focus your energy where it really matters. Every minute we waste uselessly is a minute we could dedicate to our personal development. 5. Be understanding. Trying to understand another person's point of view is a valuable way to show empathy. You can ask, "Why do you think that way?" Or, "How did you come to that conclusion?" These questions help understand how they form their opinions and beliefs. Another point of being understanding is practicing active listening, paying attention and showing respect for the other person's ideas and viewpoints. What a person who sees themselves as a know-it-all does best is not respecting others' opinions or knowledge. By listening attentively, you show respect and willingness to converse. And as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best we can be is not to become like our enemies. This means maintaining our principles even when we disagree with what others do. Start encouraging constructive dialogue and try to value the contributions each one can bring, regardless of their origin. This is part of Stoicism, a philosophy that says we all have something to teach. It is important to take into account that often someone's stubbornness comes from feeling insecure. These people use what they know as protection against their own weaknesses. If they are contradicted, these insecurities can be hit, leading to exaggerated reactions, ranging from speaking louder to, in extreme situations, physical aggression. Stubbornness is also common among people who believe they know everything. This behavior often appears with an arrogant attitude, acting as if everyone around knows less or depends on them for knowledge. Some people may also feel the need to control everything around them, which is often a manifestation of insecurity. By trying to control what others think, they want to prevent any opinion from hurting them or challenging their belief system that they have fought so hard to build. And as we know well through Stoicism, it is impossible to control others' opinions, which is why conversing with people who believe they know everything, learn better than everyone, or perceive the world better is so difficult. Whether in a work meeting, a college class, or at home, living with these people requires a lot of patience and understanding. They seek security in external approval and try to control what people think and believe to feel good about themselves, protecting their weaknesses and fears instead of confronting them. Each time we look within ourselves, we gain the opportunity to know ourselves better, to understand and learn to deal with our emotions, our sad feelings, our anger. Each time we seek something outside to fill these answers, we give our power to whoever it may be. Finally, it is important to think whether it is worth arguing with such people. Often, it is better to recognize when the conversation will lead nowhere and step back, maintaining peace of mind and using your energy more usefully. 6. Reflect on your own beliefs. Sometimes we learn wrongly and continue doing something wrong all our lives. As Epictetus told us, there are two ways to see the same situation. We can also use the challenge of a conversation with someone who always thinks they are right to examine and strengthen our own beliefs. Reflecting on what we believe is very important for growing as a person. Often, without realizing it, we follow ideas or behaviors without questioning whether they are really good or right, simply because that's how we learned since we were little. We are shaped by our environment and influenced by the character of those around us. When we talk to someone who always thinks they are right, we can use this situation as a chance to think better about our own ideas. The philosopher Epictetus taught us that we can see the same situation in different ways. This means that even if someone seems not to change their opinion, we can take the opportunity to review and strengthen what we ourselves believe. Listening to what the other person has to say and thinking about it can help us see if we are wrong in some point, or if there is something we can improve. It is good to keep an open mind and always be willing to learn from others. When you are talking to someone who seems to know everything, try not to judge quickly or think, this person thinks they are better than everyone else. Knowing that this is their way, prepare for what lies ahead and face the conversation differently. Listen carefully and see if there is something useful that you can learn or understand better during the discussion. Even if it seems difficult, this approach can bring valuable insights and help you grow. It is also essential to know when our beliefs are right and need to be defended. Talking to someone who believes they are always right not only serves to doubt our ideas or put our judgment to the test, but can also be a confirmation of our values and principles. If after thinking and debating with a know-it-all, you see that your ideas still make sense, it reinforces our confidence in them. In the end, being open to changing your opinion when necessary shows that we are mature and have emotional intelligence. Facing challenges as opportunities to learn and not as threats significantly transforms our way of thinking and also makes us more balanced and aware in life. 7. Use reason. According to Seneca, using reason is essential to achieve clarity of thought. This helps maintain emotional stability, no matter how difficult a conversation or interaction with someone who always wants to be right. There is an important Stoic principle that says, no one can disturb or destabilize us unless we allow it. Although Stoic philosophy is very ancient, its wisdom is surprisingly modern and current. It helps us build resilience and strength to face the challenges of everyday life. And it can help you become emotionally strong so that you do not let yourself be disturbed by external events, nor allow anyone to irritate you. Stoic philosophy can teach you to control yourself and maintain tranquility in the midst of a difficult conversation or argument. It can help you make decisions and, therefore, drastically simplify your daily life. The key point here is to use logical and rational arguments rather than emotional ones to discuss different points of view, striving to maintain serenity no matter what happens around you. But remember that, while for us, this can be a learning experience, for others it may seem like an attack on their self-esteem. 8. The power of silence. Often when we try to explain our point of view to people who think they are always right, it seems like they never really listen to us. This can happen because it is difficult for these people to accept the ideas of others. Even if they hear us, they will not respond or engage in the conversation. What is learning for us is an attack on their self-esteem for them. For example, if someone criticizes us for something we do, like eating meat or supporting a certain political movement, it makes us reflect. We consider the criticism, think about the reasons behind it, and decide whether or not to incorporate this new perspective into our beliefs. This is part of a healthy process of learning and adaptation. In the case of an insecure person, if we give them this same information, they will not listen and will always impose their arguments in such a way that nothing will undo their way of thinking. This behavior creates barriers in communication and often makes a simple conversation difficult. Knowing this, we can choose the best strategy as a response. Silence. Silence can be very useful, especially when dealing with someone who thinks they are always right. Often, choosing not to enter into a discussion can help us avoid fights and keep calm. Stoic philosophy teaches us that valuing silence helps maintain our inner peace. The Stoics believe that we should control our reactions to situations around us to remain calm. When we decide to stay quiet in moments of tension, we are practicing control over ourselves. Choosing not to speak does not mean we are passive, cowardly, or agree with everything. It shows that we are strong and conscious. Knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet is an important skill that helps us deal with difficult situations. It's not always worth opening your mouth and retorting with the know-it-all person. Silence also allows us to observe more and think more clearly about what is happening. Instead of wasting energy on endless arguments, we can use this time to reflect and try to understand others better. This can open our minds to new ideas and perspectives that we wouldn't see if we were fighting. Therefore, using silence is not only a way to avoid conflicts, it is a way to grow personally. We learn about patience, how to set boundaries, and choose our battles. In a world full of opinions, knowing when to stay quiet can be a powerful way to assert our position and maintain our peace of mind. Dealing with people who think they are always right can be very difficult and exhausting. It is important to learn to handle it intelligently. In all the strategies you saw in the video, it is important to understand your value, master your ability to react through reason, and have emotional intelligence to deal with the stress these people try to cause in us. This balanced way of acting helps you stay firm and respectful while avoiding unnecessary arguments. Thus, you strengthen your confidence and learn to better handle complicated situations. The most important thing is not to nullify yourself, lose your identity, or belittle yourself all the time just to avoid fights. When you decide to give in, do it strategically, so that the price of your peace is not your self-esteem or you giving your power to others. And if you've made it this far, comment gratitude. Now, I'm leaving 2 of my recommendations on your screen, and one of them is a video on how to deal with insomnia. So if you want to tackle that challenge, go watch it now.